This conference will now be recorded.
Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Honorable Secretary General Dr. G.P. Agrawal and Dr. Sanjeev Lag, Executive Secretary Wasme, I, Megha Chadha, Deputy Director, Wasme, heartily welcome all dignitaries and participants for the webinar on Wasme, Amazon Digital Retailer webinar, Grow Your Retail Business Digitally. Let me brief about Wasme, a global organization having member representatives in more than 100 countries, spearheading the cause and development and promotion of SMEs worldwide through policy advocacy, information dissemination, conferences, seminars, events, trainings, publication, network linkages, and many more since 1980. WASME enjoys the consultative and observer status of United Nations. Now I invite Dr. Sanjeev Lag, Executive Secretary WASME, to welcome guest and deliver inaugural address. Let me introduce Dr. Sanjeev Lag. Dr. Sanjeev Lag currently working as Executive Secretary at WASME, looking after global operation, around 25 years of rich experience in strategy, research, consultancy, projects, contributed 18 research papers and actively associated with 15 ministries of Government of India, Harvard Business Review, and ResearchGate, serving as board committee members of Symbiosis University, Noida, India, NDIM, New Delhi, Mentorex NIEF, recognized by UNESCO, Paris, France, Ministry of MSME, Government of India, SP Jain Global Management School, Dubai, UAE, Tata Consultancy Services, Delhi University, Times Group, Economics Times, Bennett University, Greater Noida, in India, Mentorex, Teflas, Mumbai, Ashtak, India Today, NTPC, India. Author of a book titled MSME Crash or Opportunity in COVID-19, published by Lab Publishing Europe. Handing over mic to Dr. Sanjeev Lag, Executive Secretary WASME. Dr. Lag, please, thank you so much.
Thank you, Megha, for nice introduction. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to everybody. I am Dr. Sanjeev Lag, Executive Secretary WASME. Heartily welcome Mr. Naveen Bet, Betalapura Arun, Senior Manager, AWS Training and Certification, and Mr. Srinidhi Kalpapudi, Senior Manager, Amazon.in, Serial Strategy, AWS, Consumer, for accepting our invitation for the Wasme Amazon Digital Retailer webinar, Grow Your Retail Business Digitally. My special thanks to AWS and the team for partnering Wasme in this webinar. I also welcome all the dignitaries and participants who have taken out their valuable time to participate in this webinar. Hope you and your family members are safe and healthy in this unprecedented situation. As you have already experienced, this COVID-19 has already disrupted our life as well as the businesses, and MSMEs are the hardest hit. And whenever we are just talking about the MSMEs, they are the backbone of our economy as well as they are just contributing 30% to the GDP, 50% to the export, and generating 70 to 80% of the employment. And government's target is by 2025 to grow GDP from 30% to 50% and from export to 50% to 75% and to make the India the 5 trillion economy by 2025. And with this vision, Amazon has already launched this assembly Vidyalaya to educate the micro, small, and medium enterprise to make them digitize because this COVID, during the COVID time, everybody was locked down and every businesses was in the lockdown period. They were just struggling with various types of capital needs, cash flow, working capital, and As far as today's data is concerned, 53% of the MSMEs, the micro one, they have already stopped their businesses, shut down their establishment, and the new businesses just emerging, and they have to get digitized in this COVID area to survive, revive, sustain, as well as scale up their businesses. So we have esteemed panelists to discuss on the topic of the how to digitize this retailing sector or retailer sector, retailers. So let me introduce the esteemed panelist here, Mr. Naveen. Naveen leads a team of AWS skill advisors whose charter is to build cloud fluency inside AWS customers. An alumni of IIT Delhi, Naveen is extremely passionate about making workforce future ready through the impact skilling brings in driving organization wide digital transformations. Prior to AWS, Naveen had a long tenure of SAP where in his last role he was driving co-innovation and co-build of SAP's packaged solutions with global partners, SI partners. Outside of work, Naveen is an avid quizzer and loves to participate in national level corporate quizzes. We have got second panelist Srinidhi. Srinidhi is the category business development lead for the in marketplace for the consumer electronics business, which includes a diverse range of businesses ranging from HCTP products like mobiles, laptops, and large appliances to accessory businesses, musical instruments, and office products. He joined Amazon in 2017, and prior to taking over this role, he led the seller advertising business for the in marketplace. He has close to 14 years of professional experience in retail and institutional sales and business development in the FMCG and e-commerce sectors. So firstly, I invite Mr. Naveen, our Senior Manager, AWS Training and Certification, to put his thought on the topic. Mr. Naveen, please.
Thank you, Dr. Lang. And first of all, I want to compliment Wasme for giving us this opportunity to come and present our thoughts in the form of this webinar. On the same breath, I also would like to wish all the esteemed dignitaries here the safest of health. These are very challenging times. We all are staying in a very challenging time. So I wish you and your family are all safe. And on that pivot, I also would like to believe that crisis leads to opportunities. And I think what we're going to share here is one such way of converting a crisis into opportunity. So allow me and my colleague, my esteemed colleague Srinidhi, to talk about how SMBs can scale their sales digitally in 3 simple steps. We will cover 3 critical elements in this particular webinar today. We will start with identifying the right technology which is required to make your business successful. Then we will also discuss how Amazon India and Amazon Web Services can help you leverage, support, and grow your and scale your business. And last but not the least, how to get started. After knowing step 1 and step 2, if you want to take the first step, how to get started. So with this, I would first request my colleague Srinidhi to quickly introduce himself, and then I'll start with the next set of presentation slides. Over to you, Srinidhi, for a quick round of introduction.
Sure. Thanks, Naveen. Hi, folks. Hi, everyone. My name is Srinidhi Kalapudi, and I would like to first of all start by thanking Wasme for giving us this opportunity. So, as Dr. Like already kindly introduced, I've been with Amazon for close to 4 years now. I lead the consumer electronics space for the IN marketplace here in India. And prior to this, I was leading the seller advertising business, and I have total of close to around 14 years professional experience, largely in the space of institutional retail sales. Yeah, so that's about me. So Naveen, maybe we could get started.
Thank you, Srini. I think we had my introduction, so I'll probably get started. So we discussed the first step, how to identify the right technology to make your business successful. The purpose of this is how do we accelerate your business and scale it with the right technology. So as we start, let's take a quick poll, and please feel free to put it in the chat box. I'll ask you a very simple question. What are your key business needs today? What will you do to make your business scale? So maybe I'll give all of you 10 seconds to put your responses on the chat box. Thank you for sharing your inputs on the chat. So let's move forward and let us share what is the journey which we need. What are the four critical steps and four critical areas where an SMB has to focus on when it comes to digitizing the journey. So there are key elements. How do we grow the business? So when we say grow, it's about reaching out to new customers, exploring new channels. So we need a tech backbone which becomes omni-channel as much as possible. And how do we simplify business? When I say simplify, it's in the existing uh, methods, in the existing business operations. Can we scale and address more customers? Can we serve more customers? Can we manage more customers? So we need omni-channel solutions which are focused on social media and other areas to give you that platform. The third, and once you are well established on grow and simplify, then optimize and differentiate comes into play, where you start transforming your business processes, making them more innovative, and eventually leading to gaining competitive edge through new launches of services and products, and adopting more and more modern technology. So these are the four key elements, the four steps of journey which a small and medium business or a small and medium enterprise would look into. Now, we completely understand, and I'll also I'm conscious that some of you would also be comfortable with Hindi, so we will also mix Hindi as we speak. इन चारों स्टेजेस में आप किसी एक स्टेज में हो सकते हैं. ये जरूरी नहीं है कि सबको ग्रो से स्टार्ट करना है और डिफरेंशिएट में जाना है. एज पर योर कंफर्ट you can be at a particular stage, and from there on you can start a journey. The journey from left to right is prescribed linear, but you are most comfortable to pick the stage where you are and start the journey from there on. So basis that, let's do another poll, and now let's identify what are the challenges आज की तारीख में, what kind of challenges you face or you expect to face when adopting technology. And some of the options are given in my screen. Please take another 10 seconds. We would be happy to see your thoughts. Okay, thank you to all of those who inputted their challenges. So we did a survey of around 3,000 SMB companies, and some very interesting aspects came out, especially the challenges when adopting technology. Number one, accessibility. क्या मैं किसी टेक्नोलॉजी को इजीली एक्सेस कर सकता हूँ या कर सकती हूँ, इज समथिंग which is really a challenge.
ठीक है.
Number two, affordability. Is it something which ensures that the total cost of ownership is not very high? My cash outflows are not very high upfront. Is it something which is easy to consume and probably pay as you go? Third is simplicity. Is it something जहां मैं plug and play कर सकूं, जहां मुझे ज्यादा complication ना मिले और मैं scale और agile बन सकूं? And fourth, जहां मुझे support की commitment हो, world class support की commitment हो, and I don't have to struggle to get support at the time of need. So these are the four key challenges which we observed coming from SMBs, especially while adopting technology. I also want to bring a perspective today, and Dr. Lang very well spoke about it, but just to go further, the entire ecosystem is evolving. SMBs form a core of the Bharatiya Janata Party as a core voter. Government is doing a lot. Government bodies are coming out and putting a lot of focus on digitization. Same goes for association. Industry is looking at new best practices and imbibing new best practices. And last but not least, the tech companies are bringing a lot of their expertise to bring that tech backbone to ensure that companies adopt technology and are able to scale and become agile as quickly as possible. So all the things are coming together, and there is an ecosystem getting built to ensure that retailers grow and thrive. And Dr. Lang again very rightly pointed out, actually it goes back to his initial opening statement. All this contribute to a $5 trillion economy, which Prime Minister Modi has also conceived. So with that, allow us to share how to leverage support from Amazon India and Amazon Web Services, which includes onboarding yourself. आप लोग अगर Amazon India में as a seller onboard होते हैं, and how to use Amazon Digital Suite. हमारे पास सॉफ्टवेयर सर्विसेज हैं, सॉफ्टवेयर सॉल्यूशन से आप उसको कैसे एक्सेस कर सकते हैं to achieve success. So I come back to the initial 4 steps of the journey. We have an integrated set of easy to use software products curated for SMBs business needs, specifically meant for small and medium customers. And then we have these 4 stages starting from grow, simplify, all the way to differentiate. So on grow, first you can onboard yourself on the Amazon.in platform. 2, we have some very interesting partners who have curated solution to help you get started. Say Vinculum as an example is focusing on e-commerce and retail automation. Zoho focuses on inventory management. Vyapar focuses on complete accounting solutions. And then comes the payment piece, which is very important for you when it comes to doing ease of doing business. So there, Razer Pay gives us a very good solution, and we'll talk about it as we go. And covering all this across the board is Clear Tax, which focuses on GST filing, tax regulations, and compliance and business registrations, as you see in this slide. For the purpose of this webinar, we'll be focusing more on growth because most of you would be starting a journey. आपका यह पहला step होगा in terms of identifying किस technology को हम use करें और आगे बढ़ें. So we will be focusing more on growth. And with this, I will invite my colleague Srinidhi to talk about some of the categories which are very interesting from his standpoint. Over to you, Srinidhi.
Thanks. Thanks a lot, Naveen. So over the course of the next 10 minutes or so, what we are going to do is that we're going to focus a little bit on the business basics and what are the categories that are sort of the in focus categories, which of them are growing, and what do we need to do from a business point of view to be sort of successful in this category. Dr. Laik earlier spoke about how the pandemic and the lockdown caused a lot of problems, particularly for the SMBs. लेकिन मैं एक बात बताना चाहूंगा आप लोगों को कि आज की तारीख में अगर आप देखेंगे तो consumer electronics has almost become like an essential, right? Because with work from home, with all of these things coming in, so the consumer electronics is no longer considered one of those expensive products, etc. So it's almost like an essential now. And it is also one of the faster growing sectors, at an overall level, both in terms of retail and in terms of e-commerce. And I'm very happy to report that Amazon, perhaps has already taken a lead in this sector, across a lot of key players, right? And another thing that I would like to point out is that generally, जब हम consumer electronics की बात करते हैं, तो we normally only think about let's say mobiles or laptops. And what typically comes to mind is that some of those 4 or 5 big companies that we have. However, what I would like to point out is that consumer electronics is a very large space. There is headphones, there is there are wireless accessories, there are personal computing accessories, and there is office products. right? So there are a lot of these spaces, a lot of these accessory spaces, a lot of technical, accessory products where we are seeing that a lot of, our SMBs, a lot of, private labels are, are actually succeeding in, right? So, and, we have listed down some of the, categories here. There's, of course, headphones and speakers. Camera accessories is a huge space that is growing. Computing accessories is again a huge space that is growing, right? Mobile accessories we already spoke about. Yeah. So with that, Naveen, can we move on to the next slide? So with that introduction, let's quickly look at what is the typical consumer behavior like in a consumer electronics sort of space, right? Because if you look at what kind of customer are we catering to here, typically these are customers who are obviously highly educated, who are tech savvy, who understand usage, and more importantly, are also customers who are actually willing to pay. They're all high potential customers. And some of the behaviors, if you look at it, when you look at unko kya chahiye, typically you find them very conscious about quality. You typically find them very anxious about delivery timelines because obviously either agar aapne itna expensive product kharida hai, so you would obviously want it to be delivered in a day or two. Or let's say aapne agar 50,000 का फोन खरीदा है लेकिन पर वो केबल आपको 3-4 दिन बाद मिल रहा है तो obviously you'll be very anxious about it, right? So delivery becomes extremely important. Giving the right information becomes extremely important. And these are also people who are always on the lookout for the latest technology. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Right. So with that, sort of background on, the consumer behavior per se, there are around 4 aspects, that I would essentially like to talk about, starting with cataloging. And when we say cataloging, what we typically mean is that, because this is a technical product, because, understanding how the product works, understanding its compatibility with the existing devices, and understanding the technology is very important. In this particular space, providing all the right information is, perhaps one of the most key, sort of inputs to grow, right? So this could be anything ranging from, the listing out the right set of features, from listing out the compatibility with the technology. If you have any customer support number, do provide that. If you have any warranty, do call that out. If there is proper comparison that you need to do, with similar set of products, all of that is very important because this is a technical product, because there is very high involvement. Providing the right set of information to the customer becomes extremely critical, right? And let's look at a success story. If you can move on to the next slide. So again, this is a brand called Crossbeats. Again, somebody who started off as a small business and now has sort of started hitting the big leagues, right? A private label brands largely deals in headphones and smartwatches. And the information that I was talking about, if you look at sort of the example on the screen, this is sort of what we are talking about, right? We're talking about very clear, crisp details. Ensure that you provide very high quality images, ensure that you're explaining the how to use, and you're talking about the technology, the features, and so on and so forth, right? And what we have seen is that pre and post, after providing the right kind of information, your conversions actually grow by almost 60%. And obviously because aapne sahi information pehle hi diya, so your returns are also significantly reduced, right? Let's move on to the next slide, please. The second part, we spoke about providing the right information. Then the second part that I would like to talk about is providing the speed, because so inventory management and speed, is a very, very critical aspect of succeeding in the consumer electronics space, right? Particularly, what I foresee, let's say in the next, at least till the next 2 years, I think the demand is going to stay elevated, for all the consumer electronics products, given that the work from home is a huge reality. A lot of companies, even when they're going to move back to working from office, there is now going to be a hybrid model, right? So that is going to be a reality. And hence this, the demand is always going to stay elevated. So managing your inventory in the right fashion, and ensuring that you are placing your inventory closer to the customer. What we in Amazon parlance call as replication, that becomes extremely important. Just to give you an example, what we have seen is that people who have placed their inventory closer to the customer, typically in the consumer electronic space, what we see is that they see a jump of almost 5 to 6 times, in their sales, right? And there's a huge drop in terms of the returns and the returns that happen. Also, when you place your inventory closer to the customer, you are also shelling out lesser, in terms of fees to Amazon, right? So with that background, let's again take a look at another success story from another SME who invested in this space. And again, here is a brand called Copio, again another SME, and largely deals in the space of wireless accessories, which is cables, screen protectors, etc. Now, this particular brand is actually replicated across 8 zones. So we divide India into different zones, and when we say is replicated in 8 zones, this is the highest level possible in terms of the inventory being closest to the customer, right? And he is able to now deliver everything within a day. And he has some great customer reviews, 3.5 and above, which is considered a very good rating, right? All right, let's move on to the next slide, please. Obviously, the next important feature is of course pricing. One has to ensure market competitiveness, because as I already spoke about, इस space में competition काफी है, because demand ज़्यादा है, बहुत सारे SMEs हैं, बहुत सारे private labels इसमें enter कर रहे हैं. So it will be very important that we ensure market competitiveness, and more importantly, see, one is ensuring that you are competitive with other people who are competing on e-commerce. But very important thing is also to ensure that you are providing price parity offline, because if you observe, some of these accessory products, etc., are also widely distributed offline, right? So that becomes extremely important. We also have a lot of tools that are available for you to be able to price your products competitively, be it deals, be it coupons, and so on and so forth. And bundling is also something that you can try, particularly if you are dealing with products that are of low value, let's say 100 rupees and 200 rupees and so on and so forth. Can we move on to the next slide, please? The last one is, of course, marketing, which is essentially what we call as discoverability, right? You have the right product, you have the right quality of product. You're ensuring that you're giving the right information to the customer. You are ensuring that you are closer to the customer in terms of your delivery. You have the right pricing, etc. However, after doing all of this, if your products are not discoverable, right? If the other customer आपके products को ढूंढ नहीं पा रहा है, then obviously that will have a limited impact on your sales. So this will be extremely important. Sponsored ads, we have a product called sponsored products, where you could actually invest into this particular product, and you ensure that you drive visibility, that we have a lot of tools available which will actually give you suggestions and insights into where to invest in, and so on and so forth. So there is sponsored products. We also set and customize marketing campaigns, etc., which you can also invest in to sort of make your products more visible, right? Let's move on to the next slide, please. Right. Again, this is another success story that I would like to talk about, which is a brand called U&I. Again, somebody who deals in headphones, speakers, and cables. Again, somebody who started off as an SME. I believe now that Shahid Kapoor is the brand ambassador, for this particular brand, right? And again, this is one brand which has gone about this entire discoverability piece in a very concerted fashion, in a very systematic fashion. Ensure that they invest into sponsored ads, ensure that they have visibility, ensure that they invest into marketing campaigns, and so on and so forth. And whenever they do this in the recently concluded small business day that we had, they had seen a sales spike of almost 6.5 to 7x, right? So that's sort of the success that you get because of your investment into discoverability. All right, let's move on. Right, so these are some of the products that are perhaps really selling well right now. Something that those are really something that we would want more SMEs to come in, more private labels to come in to invest into these. So yeah, so there is an entire range of gaming accessories. Gaming is quite big right now, right? And we already spoke about wireless and personal computing accessories. There is speakers and home theaters. That is something that is really doing well, right? So in summary, so these are sort of the top selling products that we have. Right? Can we move on to the next slide, please? So yeah, so this is sort of a summary slide of all that we talked about so far. So just to quickly sum up, again, this is a space that is growing extremely well. Please remember that this space is almost like an essential. This is no different from your food or grocery needs right now, and there's a lot of potential for small and medium businesses to come here to be successful. This business has almost become lockdown slash recession proof. Given the work from home that has come in, right? So yeah, and these are the things that we already spoke about: inventory management, your inventory closer to the customer, competitive pricing, and good discoverability, right? So these are sort of the things that we wanted to talk about. So that in summary are some of the business basics of consumer electronics. So yeah, thanks, Naveen. That's it from my end. Over to you.
No, thanks, Sri. Really insightful. Gives us a lot of overview of the tips, the space which you spoke about, and the benefits overall in terms of scaling and insights on inventory as well. So thanks for that. So what we'll do is we'll move on now to the specific offerings coming from our digital suite partners. So I'll start about Vinculum. I think we heard Sri. It provides brands to tap into opportunities by selling on any sales channel. So आप सिर्फ एक ही sales channels पे focus नहीं करना चाहेंगे. आप चाहेंगे जितना हो सके मैं अपने sales opportunities को बढ़ाऊं, जितने sales channels को मैं tap कर सकूं उसको मैं कोशिश करूं. And Vinculum exactly does that. So whether it's marketplace, web stores, single brand outlets, multi-brand outlets, distributors, or even social media, their functionalities offers you that. And then fulfillment, right? So you have your own warehouses, third party, and so on and so forth. So the entire suite is a fully stacked omni-channel SaaS platform. Helps you in creating catalog once and push to global markets. So going from local to global, that's one. Omni-channel retailing, B2C and B2B fulfillment. They have industry recognized warehouse management systems, and then royalty programs. So earn and redeem points across brands, locations, and channels. And last but most importantly, again, I repeat, sell across all sales channels and fulfill across all inventory locations, something which I think we also got a sense from Sri when he was talking about. So what they have done is they have a retail automation pack which empowers small businesses like all of you dignitaries here and enterprises. So we start with e-retail, which focuses on multi-channel order management, return and logistics management, very important, and automatic inventory management. I think the third piece is very important to ensure that the inventories are as lean as possible. Then win listers, which focuses on catalog creation. आपके प्रोडक्ट्स अच्छी तरह कैटलॉग बने, लोग देखें, सब लोगों को डिफरेंशिएट कर सकें. कैटलॉग एनरिचमेंट, अगर उसमें एडिशनल फंक्शनलिटीज है तो उसको एनरिच कर सकें. एंड ऑटो कैटलॉग पुश टू मल्टी चैनल, जैसे जब भी आप कोई कैटलॉग अपडेट करें तो ऑटोमेटिकली पुश हो जाए मल्टी चैनल में. एंड देन विन रिको, व्हिच इज मार्केट प्लेस पेमेंट रिकॉन्सिलेशन, dispute management, and last but not the least, accounting and GST reports. So these are some of the very interesting offerings coming from Vinculum Retail Automation Pack. And what we'll do is we'll quickly have a look at what they have to offer. So let's have a quick look at the video from Vinculum.
Please start the video.
And Vinculum has close to 400 customers now, 400 brands, and as I mentioned to you, their warehouse management system is already industry certified. So, in case you're interested, we'll share more details about them, and please feel free to sign up with them. Two very good examples where customers leveraged Vinculum solutions. I'll talk about Fab India first, and the business benefits are for all of us to see. 30% reduction in turnaround time. The cancellation rates reduced drastically to close to 60%. They were able to add new retail stores per year. The scale of business, the rate at which they scale the business. We look at Amante. I think product visibility increased very highly because we just heard about their omni-channel functionality, and then again presence within and beyond India through multiple and local global markets increased. So we saw the video which talked about multiple marketplaces. So a lot of scaled offerings from Vinculum, and there is a testimony from one of the customers who had consumed the Vinculum solution and has something to say about. So with that, we move to Zoho. So let's talk about streamlining your inventory and order management. So when we say streamlining, this includes inventory tracking, multi-channel selling, entire order to management process, which has to be really robust, fulfillment, and again warehouse management and inventory reports. So again, here you see Sharad, who is from Fidel India, talking about their experience about using Zoho inventory in the past few years. They tried multiple software applications to manage the inventory, but for some reasons, the existing solutions were unnecessarily too complicated, and hence they came to Zoho, and Zoho helped them to manage the inventory and overall the customers very efficiently, and that helped them to automate many of their business processes, which includes the online stores, and eventually it was effortless to navigate and seamless integration with other Zoho products. So overall, that Office suite was beautifully crafted. And the same with Sandeep actually from SPC Healthcare. They were again previously using a traditional system, which was very limited, but then they shifted to Zoho inventory, and because of the beauty of automation of processes, it's much simpler for them now. Support is something which is extremely critical. We spoke in the beginning also. So with their strong support, I think the trust became extremely important. So once you have trust on the support side, you can look at going into other areas and expand your business. So some of the examples of customer benefits coming from Zoho. Let's have a quick look at how Zoho's offering.
Sir, increase the volume from your side.
So we just heard how those overall suite of solutions help you interoperate and scale the business. Now let's also look at Vyapar. Vyapar is is a partner which helps you going digital and can make step of your value chain better. What you can do is maintain your inventory on customized invoices, powerful accounting, GST reports, and online store. Let's have a quick look at the demo of Vyapar. How does it work?
अगर आप इनवॉइस में कोई एडिशनल डिटेल्स एंटर करना चाहते हैं तो उसके लिए आप यहाँ डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स का इस्तेमाल भी कर सकते हैं। यहाँ पर आपको एक ऐड इमेज का ऑप्शन मिलता है जिससे आप इनवॉइस से रिलेटेड किसी भी डॉक्यूमेंट, आइटम या कोई भी जरूरी इमेज ऐड कर सकते हैं। इसके बाद राइट साइड में आपको टोटल अमाउंट से पहले शिपिंग, पैकेजिंग या कोई भी एडिशनल चार्जेस ऐड करने का ऑप्शन भी मिलता है जिसे आपको पहले ही ट्रांजैक्शन सेटिंग से ऑन करना होगा। आप चाहें तो इनवॉइस की अमाउंट को राउंड ऑफ ऑप्शन के द्वारा राउंड ऑफ भी कर सकते हैं। ये ऑप्शन भी आपको पहले से ही ट्रांजैक्शन सेटिंग से ऑन करना होगा। अब अगर आपको कोई भी अमाउंट रिसीव हो रहा है तो उसे आप रिसीव अमाउंट कॉलम में लिख सकते हैं और फिर सेव बटन पर क्लिक करें। आपका सेल इनवॉइस रेडी है। आप चाहें तो लेफ्ट मेन्यू में अवेलेबल मल्टीपल फील्ड्स और कलर्स सेलेक्ट कर सकते हैं और राइट साइड में मौजूद ऑप्शंस की हेल्प से अपने कस्टमर्स के साथ ये इनवॉइसेस शेयर कर सकते हैं। आप चाहें तो इसका प्रिंट ले सकते हैं और पीडीएफ भी डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं। इसी के साथ सेल रिकॉर्ड्स ट्रैक करने के लिए आप लेफ्ट मेन्यू में रिपोर्ट ऑप्शन में जाएं और यहाँ सेल पर क्लिक कर आप अपने सभी सेल रिकॉर्ड्स ट्रैक कर सकते हैं। व्यापार आपको सेल की ग्राफिकल रिपोर्ट भी प्रोवाइड करता है जिसे आप डेली, वीकली, मंथली और ईयरली भी ट्रैक कर सकते हैं। इसी तरह से आप व्यापार में अन्य ट्रांजैक्शंस जैसे परचेज इनवॉइस, पेमेंट इन, पेमेंट आउट, सेल रिटर्न, परचेज रिटर्न, सेल ऑर्डर, परचेज ऑर्डर, एस्टिमेट्स, कोटेशंस, डिलीवरी चालान, एक्सपेंसेस और अदर इनकम्स भी बना सकते हैं। हमें आशा है कि आपको ये वीडियो पसंद आया होगा, तो प्लीज वीडियो लाइक करें और अपने व्यापारी दोस्तों के साथ इसे शेयर भी करें। अगर आपको व्यापार से रिलेटेड कोई भी जानकारी चाहिए या कोई प्रॉब्लम फेस कर रहे हैं तो आप हमें कॉल कर सकते हैं या व्हाट्सएप कर सकते हैं। हमें संपर्क करने की जानकारी स्क्रीन पर मौजूद है। ऐसे ही अन्य वीडियोस के लिए हमारे YouTube चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल आइकन को दबाना ना भूलें। व्यापार इस्तेमाल करने के लिए धन्यवाद। हैप्पी व्यापार।
So you can see how easy it is to use, and in fact, if I were to use the word S in SMB, I would say simple, and that's the mantra. कि कितना सिंपल हम इसको यूज कर सकते हैं ना। व्यापार का डेमो आपको दिखाता है। अगेन एन एग्जांपल, एक कस्टमर जो यूज कर रहे हैं उनके बिलिंग अकाउंटिंग रिक्वायरमेंट्स को and have got really good benefit. उनका पूरा procurement cost has come down by around 90%, which is really nice to know. And then I come to the last piece, and again going to the initial thoughts of Dr. Lang. In the last 12 to 18 months, I think a lot has changed. One, what we are seeing is a massive shift of digital payments pivoting towards now tier 1, 2, and 3 cities actually, and the year-on-year growth in terms of online transactions has been close to 80 to 85%. So there's a massive growth between 2019 and 2020. But अगर उसके हम पथ को खोलें और थोड़ा और भीतर जाएं, then we'll see that within this growth, tier 2 or tier 3 cities has contributed more than 50% of this growth in digital transformation, and that is close to 92%, which is to me, अगर आप पूछो तो literally double growth है tier 2 tier 3 cities में in terms of digital transactions. So digital penetration उस हद तक जा चुका है। आज की तारीख में लोग apps को use करते हैं, they have access to internet and they are able to shop on the go. And let's go एक और अगर हम लेवल नीचे जाएं, आखिरी के 6 महीने में जस्ट इन लास्ट 6 मंथ दिसंबर और जुलाई के मध्य हम देखें अगर विद इन 2020, the growth has been even phenomenal, which is around 73%. Now let's come at a national scale. अगर national scale में देखें तो we spot Chandigarh, Punjab, and some of the other places like Assam and Kerala showing huge spurt in growth. And most important, I think the bottom line, if I were to say, UPI transactions have crossed close to 2 billion in the last few months, and now it is increasingly becoming the default way of transacting when you purchase something wherever applicable. So cards, net banking, wallets, I think उन सबको पीछे करके UPI transactions have become the most preferable option as of now, as per the Razer Pay era of fintech report, which I'm sharing. And that leads to actually the most important another aspect, which is payments. So let's look at what Razer Pay has to offer in terms of payment simplification.
Introducing Razer Pay, the simple and smart way to carry out online payments. With Razer Pay, all payment processes are completed without leaving the merchant site and without any unnecessary redirects. It also prevents the loss of shopping cart details and even uses multiple bank gateways so that the purchase is completed successfully and securely. Razer Pay can be integrated easily with your website and also allows you to manage your transactions intelligently. With optimizations for slow networks and special features on smartphones, Razer Pay ensures
Let me check again.
Introducing Razer Pay, the simple and smart way to carry out online payments. With Razer Pay, all payment processes are completed without leaving the merchant site and without any unnecessary redirects. It also prevents the loss of shopping cart details and even uses multiple bank gateways so that the purchase is completed successfully and securely. Razer Pay can be integrated easily with your website and also allows you to manage your transactions intelligently. With optimizations for slow networks and special features on smartphones, Razer Pay ensures simplicity and speed every single time, even in our fully online and quick onboarding process as well. So sign up today and simplify your payments with Razer Pay.
So as you can see, Razer Pay का solution कितना simple है, and what Razer Pay has done is, especially for all of you in this call, they are offering free credits worth of 50,000 rupees for initial sign up. They have a preferred discounted pricing on transactions for all of you SME customers, and there is a free current account option. As you can see in my screen, so some very interesting offers coming from Razer Pay to simplify payments. I think you would all आप लोग चाहेंगे कि जितना हो सके एक ऐसा ऑप्शन हो जहाँ पे कस्टमर इमीडिएटली पेमेंट कर सके और वर्किंग कैपिटल जितना हो सके इजीली फ्लो हो सके. सो दैट्स समथिंग रेजर पे की तरफ से एक ऑफर, एक सॉल्यूशन जो हम आपको अभी प्रस्तुत कर रहे थे. एंड फ्रॉम हियर ऑन क्विक एक और टेस्टिमोनियल, एक और कस्टमर का, शमीक जो फार्मिजन के सीईओ हैं, एक एग्रीटेक कंपनी है. they when he started his company, he felt that business payments are extremely important, and obviously he needed a partner to whom he can focus and bank on completely. And just like you saw in the video, right, it's very easy to integrate Razer Pay, and that's exactly I think what he did, and Razer Pay was able to check all the boxes and help him achieve his goal in terms of payments. So with this, मैं फिर से लौट के एक समरी पे आता हूँ. What exactly is Amazon Digital Suite? How can we help you unleash your growth potential with AWS? सबसे पहले easy access. जैसे आप Amazon ऐप में जाके प्रोडक्ट शॉप करते हैं, उसी तरह इन सारे पार्टनर सॉल्यूशंस को आप हमारे मार्केट प्लेस से एक्सेस कर सकते हैं. वेरी इजी, नो कॉम्प्लिकेशंस, हेवी डिस्काउंटेड ऑफर्स. एज यू कैन सी वी ऑलरेडी शो, एंड मैं और आगे बात करूंगा इसके बारे में. बहुत सारे एक्सक्लूसिव बेनिफिट्स हैं आप सबके लिए. यू कैन गेट लॉट ऑफ इंटरेस्टिंग फ्री ट्रायल्स. सिंपल, आई थिंक सिंपल इज टू मी द कोर ऑफ दिस एंटायर वेबिनार. सारे सॉल्यूशंस बहुत सिंपल हैं. आपको यू आर रेडी टू गो, आप इमीडिएटली स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं. कोई कॉम्प्लिकेशंस नहीं है. एंड सपोर्ट, डेडिकेटेड सपोर्ट टू इंश्योर आपको बेस्ट सपोर्ट मिले. Amazon अगर आपको रिकमेंड कर रहे हैं इन सॉल्यूशंस को, तो आप सोच सकते हैं कि इनकी सपोर्ट बहुत अच्छी होगी. So what I'm sharing with you is a screen. यहाँ पे इनके ऑफर्स हैं. राइट नाउ इट्स ऑल एट जीरो कॉस्ट. आप स्कैन कर सकते हैं इन QR कोड्स को, एंड यू कैन मूव फॉरवर्ड. आपको नेसेसरी स्टेप्स मिलेंगे जो मैं आगे शेयर करूंगा. आपको बताऊंगा कि कैसे आप इसको फर्स्ट स्टेप शुरू कर सकते हैं. एंड दैट कम्स टू द फर्स्ट इनिशियल स्लाइड, जब मैं आपको तीसरे स्टेप की बात कर रहा था कि आपने देखा कि यहाँ पे विनकुलम है जिसके पास स्केलेबल ऑप्शन है मल्टी चैनल्स में. यहाँ पे जो है जिसका इन्वेंट्री मैनेजमेंट और ऑफिस सूट है. यहाँ पे व्यापार है जो आपको बिलिंग, वन इन ऑल बिलिंग सॉल्यूशंस और अकाउंटिंग ऑफरिंग सॉल्यूशंस ऑफर कर रहा है. और यहाँ पे रेजर पे है जो आपको पेमेंट की सॉल्यूशंस सिंप्लीफाइड कर रहा है. अगर आपको यहाँ से फर्स्ट स्टेप लेना है तो आप क्या करेंगे, आपको मैंने QR कोड दिखाया था, मैं फिर आपको दिखाऊंगा इस स्लाइड में. यू कैन स्कैन दैट QR कोड. आप जब QR कोड स्कैन करते हैं तो जैसे ही आप स्कैन करेंगे तो आपको रजिस्टर का ऑप्शन आएगा. आप रजिस्टर करेंगे तो, एंड जब आप स्टेप 3 पे जाएंगे एक्टिवेट करने के लिए, तो ये पार्टनर्स आपको अप्रोच करेंगे एंड दे विल देन टेक इट फ्रॉम देयर एंड वो आपको हेल्प करेंगे टू इमीडिएटली गेट स्टार्टेड. मैं एक बार फिर ये QR कोड शेयर कर रहा हूँ अपने स्क्रीन पे. इन केस आप स्कैन करना चाहें तो आप कर सकते हैं. मैं 10 सेकंड के लिए वेट करूंगा और देन आई विल मूव टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. Okay, so with this we come to the last slide of this webinar कि ये सॉल्यूशन हमें क्या हेल्प करेंगे मेरी सेल्स इंक्रीज करने के लिए। तो जैसे मैंने अभी आपको कहा, मल्टी चैनल, आप डिफरेंट तरह के चैनल्स यूज कर सकते हैं। आपकी बिलिंग और अकाउंटिंग सिंप्लीफाइड हो सकती है, आपकी पेमेंट सिंप्लीफाई हो सकती है, और आपको एक पूरा स्वीट मिल सकता है जहाँ पे आप सीआरएम से लेकर सारे इन्वेंट्रीज एक ही एप्लीकेशन में पा सकते हैं। तो इट ओवरऑल हेल्प्स यू टू बिकम मोर efficient, and that also increases sales because आपकी reach बढ़ती है। How can I list a product properly and increase our sales in the national international market? Again, विनकुलम का एग्जांपल बहुत अच्छा एग्जांपल है आपके लिए कि अगर आपके पास स्केल है, आप उसको कहीं भी किसी भी मार्केट प्लेस में आप लॉन्च कर सकते हैं, तो वहां पे आपको ग्लोबल स्केल मिलेगा। एंड हाउ कैन वी यूज रेजर ऐप टू रिसीव पेमेंट्स ऑनलाइन? अभी आपने वीडियो देखा, इंटीग्रेशन बहुत इजी है। सो और आपने वो भी एक और डेटा पॉइंट देखा कि टीयर 2 और टीयर 3 सिटीज में कैसे पेनिट्रेशन बढ़ता जा रहा है, यूपीआई ट्रांजैक्शन का पेनिट्रेशन बढ़ता का इस्तेमाल ज्यादा होने लगा है। तो ऐसे सिनेरियोज में रेजर पे ऐप इज वेरी वेरी हेल्पफुल टू ग्रो योर बिजनेस इन टर्म्स ऑफ पेमेंट्स। So with this, I hope Shri and I were able to give you a good sense of how you can scale and digital and increase your sales as a part of this webinar. I would take a pause and give it back to the moderator. Back to you, Wasme.
Now the platform is open for question and answer. If anybody is having any kind of question. Or you can write in the chat box. I think there is no question. Yes, yes, yes.
मैंने एक कमेंट देखा जिसमें मिस्टर काली प्रसाद बोल रहे हैं एक्सपेंसिव है, ये ट्रायल ऑफर्स है, क्यूआर आप जब स्कैन करेंगे तो ये आपके लिए फ्री है, कोई चार्ज नहीं है। आप एक बार खुद चेक कर सकते हैं और उसके बाद आप डिसाइड कर सकते हैं।
Thank you, sir. I think no question. So over to Megha.
Let's move towards the vote of thanks. I, on behalf of World Association for Small and Medium Enterprises, it's a great honor to propose the vote of thanks to all guest speakers, participants, and Wasme team. I would like to thank our distinguished speakers, Mr. Naveen, Senior Manager, AWS, Training and Certifications, and Mr. Srinidhi, Senior Manager, Amazon.in Consumer Electronics, for making excellent presentation and making this webinar interesting and meaningful. I would like to express our profound gratitude to Cheryl for her presence in this webinar. I would also like to thank our Secretary General, Dr. G.P. Agarwal, and Dr. Sanjeev Lag, Executive Secretary Wasme, for support and guidance. Once again, thank you all of you for making this webinar successful with the contribution. Thank you so much. And we are sending the feedback link in the inbox. Everyone can copy that link and send it back to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar.
Thank you so much for your time. धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir.